All right. I'm the second speaker for today, and I would like to talk to you about content security policy. Anyone here has heard of this before? Raise hands, okay. And who has used it before in an actual project?
You mean used it or got messed up by it?
Tried to implement it. That's maybe the better question.
Tried to work around it.
Yeah. Okay, a few of you already know what it is. The content security policy is a header your website can emit, and the browser will interpret it and will block certain features or certain requests that are not covered by this content security policy. The main purpose for the security policy, or CSP in short, because I'm not going to say content security policy anymore, is basically block JavaScript requests or other requests to resources in the internet, primarily to fight cross-site scripting attacks, XSS attacks, to inject malicious code. One example for this is, or why this actually matters, is that XSS is the third highest security risk according to OWASP. So it's very high on this list of what a website or app can do wrong. And adding to a Laravel app is quite easy, and it can easily be rolled out and tested. We have a report-only policy. And as a reminder, an XSS attack basically looks like this. You don't sanitize your content your user submits. So with curly brackets, exclamation point, Laravel doesn't do any sanitation, and whatever the user submits is being rendered in the browser. For example, if an attacker submits a script tag with a fetch request to a malicious website and appends the document cookies, this is all executed and sent out. Not very good, so don't do that. And next, a CSP policy, or a CSP can block this by basically telling the browser, hey, everything that is not on this approved list of domains or locations, don't execute it. So if malicious.example.com or example.com is not in the CSP, nothing gets executed. Yeah. And the CSP itself is basically just a header, as I mentioned, consisting of different policy directives. And the policy directive consists of a directive and a value. I've taken a lot of stuff from MDN, so it's a bit technical. And the directive, for example, here is the default source directive pointing to self. So everything that's going on or going out from the current domain is allowed. So CSS, JavaScript, fonts that are hosted on the same domain the website is hosted on are loaded without a problem. And for images, we allow self and example.com. So images on example.com can also be loaded. In total, there are 27 different directives available. But the most common ones are just connect source, image source, font source, script source, and style source. There are also very weird ones like fenced frame source. Fenced frames is a new HTML element that's coming or is available in Chrome right now because it's related to Google Ads tech. Sorry, a bit sick still. But these 5 are probably the most you have to interact with. Also frame source for iframes, but that's basically it. If you want to learn more about them, check out the MDM docs from Mozilla. And as we are at the Laravel Switzerland meetup, how to add this to a Laravel application. The folks at Spatie have a package for this, obviously. Spatie, Laravel CSP, install it, publish the configuration, configure the policy, and deploy in Profit. And I'm basically showing you in a few seconds how to do this and how this looks like. But first, about monitoring. As Ed mentioned, CSP can be complicated or can wreck things up. And you would probably be informed if something goes wrong. And the CSP spec itself has a report-only feature. So you can deploy a policy that's not in effect, but the browser like tests if anything would go wrong and would create an issue or an error in the logs. And tools can pick up. And Sentry supports this out of the box in the free plan. And in your dashboard, you will then see, for example, in this example, I've embedded a YouTube video which has been blocked. So I get a notification if something goes wrong. This is nice if you maybe forget something or haven't checked all your pages if anything is loaded there. So you can act quickly and fix the issue. So let's try a live demo. I've installed a new Laravel 12 application here locally and already installed the Spatie package and set up Sentry. So I have a demo project here. In Sentry, it doesn't have any issues right now. And we have this splash page, the normal one. I've replaced the font with a Google font because previously somehow Font Bunny didn't load on the VLAN, on the network here. And then we have a page which just displays a div, and we use some inline JavaScript code to write to this div. This one here, just grab the element with getElement by ID and set it in HTML. And we have a Google Maps integration as well. So this is the configuration that we have in the project. I also switched to presentation mode. Oh boy, that's big. So in the Spatie package, there are presets which are really nice. So we have a basic preset with basics to run everything on your own domain. And there are also provided ones from the community like Google Fonts, Google Maps, a lot of Cloudflare stuff, a lot of Adobe fonts, etc. I've already prepared some things here, my own preset as well. One can also add global directives. For example, here that the script directive is set to unsafe eval and unsafe inline. So globally, every JavaScript can be executed. You probably shouldn't do this because it basically circumvents the whole security aspect if you enable unsafe stuff. And then it's also the report-only presets. That's the stuff that is being sent to Sentry if something would fail. If something fails, it also is being sent to Sentry, but this basically is your lab where you can test things out. There's also report-only directives, and the rest is basically just config stuff. Where to report, to enable the feature itself, hot reloading, etc. There's also a nonce support, which I get into later on. So first, let's just enable the basic preset here and reload the page, and it looks broken. And nothing gets basically loaded anymore from remote sources. The default welcome page just loads a font file that has been blocked. Chrome is quite nice here and actually tells us what it is and where it is happening. So on line 19 here, the request to fontgoogleapis.com has been blocked, and the style source element directive would have to be updated to fix this. And there's also some inline execution that has been blocked. So scripts and elements, style elements, these have all been blocked, and that's why the page looks like it is, or like it does. On our nonce page, if we reload that as well, it's now dark, and our text is gone. That's basically because this is no longer a welcome page, but a page that uses Flux, and the dark class is applied by default, and the entire Flux appearance logic executed in Livewire and Alpine doesn't work. And that's because Livewire and Flux add some inline scripts here. That's blocked by default. By default, the base CSP blocks all inline styles and inline scripts. And Google Maps doesn't work as well. We even get a little sad face here that this content has been blocked. And you have to contact the site owner to fix the issue. So that would be probably me. If we go to Sentry now, we also see some issues. If I would have set up like a notification system here, I would get Slack notifications, email notifications. And I basically just see some details here as well. So who's the user, on which route it happened, etc. What was the policy that was active during the failure, so for easier debugging. All right, so let's fix this. Or no, let's switch to the report only feature first. So if we disable here, everything works again. If we check the network tab as well and check out the thing, we also see that no CSP rule has been sent from the server. If we enable that again, we can see the policy here with all the directives and values. Let's disable that again. Let's switch to report only. Now the site works as expected, but the errors that would have happened have been logged here in the console and are also being sent to Sentry. So basically, if you want to roll out a new policy, you probably start with the report only feature, so your site doesn't break. You maybe, I don't know, let it run for 4 weeks or something and see how many errors are appearing and fix them one by one, and hopefully at some point they're secure, hey, nothing is breaking, and let's roll this out. So to fix all my issues previously, I've prepared something. First, we add this basic preset, which just says, hey, these are my directives. Connect default font, frame, image, media, object, script, style, everything is set to self. Some are set to none. And we also add nonces to scripts and styles. And these nonces are basically a random string right now. It's basically like a little signature that is being sent from the server in the HTML source and in the header. And the browser then compares the nonce in the header and what's attached to the script tag or the style tag. And if it matches, it is allowed to execute. If not, it's not allowed to execute. And as mentioned, there are some presets. So the Google Fonts and the Google Maps preset is something we can load here as well. And if we go back here, we can now see that the page looks still broken, but our request to Google Fonts has gone through, has been loaded. And the Google Maps integration works as well. So that's nice, but the rest of the page is still broken. And for that, I've added this little preset here. And here we basically say, hey, style unsafe inline, let's allow that. So everything that's inline styles can be executed. There are some sub-directives, style element and style attributes. Style attribute is basically the inline styles on HTML elements. This is allowed as well. And the style element is the inline style. Well, I've already written it down, the style and link elements to allow inline styles as well, or unsafe inline. And the same for script tags. It's a bit funny, I'm talking about this content security policy and everything is set to unsafe inline. That's basically a bit of a hassle right now, as this is a new Laravel 12 project using Livewire, and Livewire 3 doesn't really support CSP yet. But in the night, from yesterday to tonight, the V4 beta has been announced, and they now have a CSP safe mode they're going to ship, which allows us to remove the unsafe directives in the future, hopefully. As mentioned, or let's reload the pages now, everything works again. This as well, this as well. Nice, now the Google Fonts doesn't work anymore.
You see a bunny in your configuration.
Did I remove something?
No, you left bunny in place when you switched over to...
Or, yeah. I've rushed this earlier tonight, so maybe this doesn't work really more. But what I wanted to show you once more is the nonce feature. As mentioned, this is being driven by an inline script. And the nonce, here we can now add a CSP nonce blade macro. Let's tell it like this. And now I have to remember, I think I have to remove, oh no, I removed the preset, everything is broken again. But my little inline script, that now works. The Google Chrome DevTools don't display the attribute here, but if we go into the source thing here, we can see that this little hash has been added to the HTML, and that basically tells the browser, hey, that same value is also being sent in the network tab over here. Here, that's the same value. So everything that has the same nonce value as this, let's execute this. In theory, you could add these nonces to your Flux and Livewire style elements and script tags, but it's quite a bit of hassle. Obviously, Flux and Livewire do have some underlying magic there to make our lives easier. I think there were some attempts to add this in previous months, but for some reasons it wasn't merged really. Yeah, honestly, I didn't have that much time to research everything here, but I even, while preparing the talk, I thought, hey, I really want this feature, and maybe I can contribute this, but as I read this morning that V4 ships with CSP, so my work is done now, and hopefully it works as expected. Yeah, let's fix this again. Yeah, that's basically it. So to summarize everything, what have you learned today? CSP can help protect you from XSS attacks. It can easily be installed in Laravel apps, can safely be rolled out with this report-only feature. It also shows that you care a bit about security. Every time I come across like a website and maybe I have to explore the dev tools to check, hey, why is something not working? And I see a CSP, I think, oh wow, you try to care about security, but in my case, it probably didn't work out. Yeah, and a bit of a drawback, as I mentioned, in Livewire applications, it doesn't really work right now, but as mentioned, V4 Beta now has a CSP safe mode, which hopefully fixes all the problems, and CSP can in the future be used in Livewire Laravel applications as well, which I think would be a great thing. As if you really lock your app down, I think it's quite nice that you can provide the security stamp for your users or for your clients. Like, hey, this is a safe application. We try our best to make sure nothing bad happens here and nothing gets, no malicious attacks can happen. So that's basically it from me. If you have any questions, let me know. Philip. Too soon.
Yes, thanks very much. Just a little question, since it's the default to forbid inline scripts and styles Is it a recommendation from the W3C as well to have that in the content security policy?
I don't know, honestly. But I think why inline styles are blocked, I really don't know. I assume you can build like tracking systems with CSS. Like if you add like a background pixel image, maybe you can add like if you go back to my example, my XSS example, instead of adding a script tag, you could also add like a style block that adds a hidden rule to the HTML, and the background image URL would be to your malicious website and extract data through that as well. I think that's what Meta does in some sort of form.
Also, Google Analytics had it with a pixel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just asked because it would be a great argument for students not to do that shit, because I don't like inline stuff. And if it's CSP, it would be another
I would have to research
bonus.
that, but yeah, sounds like a legit reason why not to do inline styles.
It would be interesting what Google Analytics does then, because everything there is inline by default. Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? No. Then thank you very much. Then soon we will have pizza.